Welcome to That's Rad Life, Love, and Wedding Planning in the Pacific Northwest, where our goal is to educate and elevate. I am Radhika, planner and owner of Radications, and today I'm joined by Linda Emo Newcomb from Vets by Linda, one of the newer planners to join the industry in Victoria, BC. Welcome to the show, Linda. Can you tell us where
Thank
you're
you so
joining
much.
us from today and your preferred pronouns?
I am joining from Victoria, British Columbia, or the Lekwungen Territory, and my pronouns are she, her.
Fantastic. So I understand that you've had a very busy week so far. I know this is going to be recorded, so people will have to watch on YouTube. Can we see your nails? I saw you had a nail appointment.
Oh, I haven't got them done yet,
Oh, you haven't got
so
them
I
done
can't.
yet.
So,
Okay.
no, they're like really
Never
busted right
mind. Never mind. Ignore that. How else has your week
now.
been
Yeah, I'm getting them done
going?
after this.
Okay, keep me updated.
Okay, yeah, I will.
How else has your week been going?
Not too bad, yeah. I had some site visits this week. I met with a client. They want to do like a micro wedding. So I'm excited about that. I got to send the contract out for that. And I did a shoot. What day is it today? 2 days ago now, for like a Valentine's kind of editorial style shoot. It's fun to be creative sometimes, so that was really fun. And then yeah, so planning some other events that I'm going to launch this week as well. So yeah, been busy.
Yeah, definitely. So I know that you are in your third year now, right? Is that right?
Yeah, like this will be my third season.
Okay.
Yes.
So before weddings and events, what did you do? What did you get up to?
So I went to school so I have two degrees. My first degree was molecular genetics, and I really loved it, but I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with it after. I didn't know if I wanted to be a doctor or whatever, but I really liked lab work in the labs that I did. So then I decided to become a lab tech. So then I did that degree, and I'm from Edmonton, but when I finished my lab degree, it was like April 2020, and there wasn't really any jobs. And so I was like, you know what, it's time for a change. So I applied for a job in Victoria, and here we are. So yes, from May 2020 until, I mean, technically still, I'm a lab tech at the Royal Jubilee Hospital. And so I really love science. I'm a bit of a nerd in that way. I work in microbiology, and it's kind of interesting, a transition between science and weddings, but the idea of having to follow a protocol and like having steps for everything and like organization and prioritization, like all of those have been really transferable skills I found. But it has been nice to be more creative in the wedding space. But yeah, it is my passion still, like healthcare and medical, and it's a fun it's a fun job to have, I guess. Yeah.
It sounds like it. And I guess, is it a person forward job or is it mostly just working
No,
on?
yeah. Yeah, so I don't deal with any patients. I just in the background. So the doctors will get the patients and figure out what tests they need, and then they'll send us, or the nurses usually collect the samples, and then we do the testing, and then we tell the doctors what bacteria they have and what antibiotics they
My
need, kind
gosh,
of thing.
this is
So,
fascinating. We might have to
mhm.
have a podcast
Yeah.
episode just about this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Did you have any really big concerns when you started to think about opening your business?
Yeah, mostly just like, can I even do this? And then I don't know, I feel like I'm young, but I also don't know ages of people. So like I'm 30 but when I started this I was just 20, I was 28. And so I wasn't sure if people would think I was too young. And then also actually probably up until recently, a lot of the weddings that I've done, I've been the only Black person in the room, not even like just like vendor, but like even the guests and stuff. So being a Black woman, I'm a minority in many areas, and so the wedding industry, I wasn't really sure if I would be taken seriously. So yeah, I think it was more just a lot of like self-doubt and just like worry about that. But I think, yeah, because other than that, like I feel like once I have an idea and once I have like this thing, like I want to do this, I pretty much like just try to go and do it. But yeah, I was more worried about like what people would think of me, but it ended up being fine. So,
Yeah, and actually, I was 28 when I started my business. It's like been,
oh
I'm gonna
really?
age myself now because it's been
Oh,
11 years, almost 12.
oh, wow.
So, Yeah. And also, yeah, I
Really.
understand what you're talking about because I feel like one of the things that if I try to talk to other people about not being Black, but being BIPOC, is that there's that concern that you'll be taken as the angry, like, Black woman or the angry Indian woman. And you're just
Mhm,
trying to get your point across and you're not raising your
mhm,
voice and you're
exactly.
talking calmly, but people are still like, why are you so angry? And you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just being firm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when, like, things are running behind or you're trying to get somebody in the right place, and I'm like, "I need you to listen to me." Or also, like, my husband, he's white, and sometimes at weddings or events, like, they'll look to him. I think we
Yeah.
talked about this before because your
Yeah.
husband is also white, like, they'll look to him, even though my company is literally that's by Linda, and same with yours, like, it's Rad Occasions,
Yeah.
like, our names are in the company. It's just yeah, so anyways, yeah, I mean, it probably still does happen, but I just kind of I'm getting better at realizing like no, like the couple hired me and I'm just gonna do my job and I don't care what people think.
Yeah,
My work will speak for
100%.
itself.
Yeah. And I know too, like, my husband is usually like, "I don't know." He's like, "Go ask
Exactly. They
her.
don't even know who that
Go ask
is.
the person with the iPad." He's like, "I'm here to lift
Yeah,
things."
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's so funny.
And I know you also, like, speaking of, like, marginalized communities, I know you
Mhm.
spoke at a Pride Society event. Can you tell me
Mhm.
more about what that topic of discussion was about?
Yeah, so it was the Winter Pride Festival, um, and my like little workshop was it was basically about reinventing traditions through the 2S LGBTQIA plus lens, and it was talking about because not only we didn't want to focus just on weddings because there's all different types of celebrations and that people have in their life, like baby showers or even divorce parties or like renaming ceremonies when people transition and they pick a new name. Like there's so many different beautiful celebrations that there can be, but a lot of the traditional rituals that people do in these celebrations are typically, patriarchy based or very gendered. And so it was a really nice conversation with people there. We talked about the different rituals and traditions that are current and like most popular and ways that we can change them and different ones that people have thought of themselves or have heard of in other weddings or events that they've attended. And it was really wonderful. So
That's fantastic, and it's interesting that you bring that up because I was having that conversation with someone else about how I saw this renaming party, and they kinda did it like a gender reveal cake.
oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so
It's
I
so special.
and it's one of those questions that I always ask every couple that wants to work with us, like, "Do you wanna create a new tradition right now?" Like, this is your
Mm,
opportunity to do that, and it's so
exactly.
interesting because people get caught up in the, "Oh, well, we need to do this," or "We should do this."
Exactly.
And then a lot of the times when it comes to outside of the heterosexual scope of things, people kinda feel lost or they feel
Mhm.
unseen, so it's great that you're doing that kinda work.
Yeah, I really like traditions. They should mean something to you, and they are to help you tell your story. So if something doesn't tell your story or if it doesn't have meaning to you, then you don't have to do it. Like your wedding, your celebration can be whatever you want it to be as long as it represents you. So yeah, yeah, that's a big passion project for me.
And did you find that when you planned your wedding? 'Cause I know that was pretty recent as well.
Yeah, yeah, I got
Yeah.
married in 2023, September 2023, shortly, or I guess, yeah, a couple months before I started my own planning business. But yeah, it was interesting because like I don't have a relationship with my dad, but I'm Nigerian and I still really wanted to celebrate my Nigerian culture. But a lot of the Nigerian cultural and like events and stuff are tied to your father. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
a little bit of a issue at first. Like I talked with my aunts and uncles and like my stepmom, who I call her mom now because she adopted me and like we're best friends now. But so yeah, my mom, she's not Nigerian either, or she's not Nigerian, sorry. So she also was like, I don't want to step on any toes or anything. So I kind of just decided that I don't care. Like I love my culture, and my now husband, he was always been a part of my culture. Like he loves the food, he loves the music, and so we decided to, without my dad, have a traditional, I mean, I guess traditional. engagement party. And so we got the outfits and we had a lovely gathering of everybody and we did some of the things. Part of the tradition is you're supposed to like the groom is supposed to give a dowry type thing, not always money, sometimes gifts. And my mom didn't want to like ask for money or anything like she it was just really funny. She was like, you know what, I still kind of want to do it just to be fun, but she like gave him like little things. Like I think there one of the things on the list was like this favorite rum of hers, and then another one was like fuzzy socks. And then she also asked for this like specific Tic Tac flavor that's not popular. And I remember Alex, that's my husband, we were shopping for something else. He's like, "Oh, I need to find this for your mom." And he was like so into it, even though it was just something silly, just like Tic Tacs, but he was so into it and it just like showed how much he like respected her and respected my culture. So yeah, so that was really beautiful. And then we also like put some like Kenyan aspects in there as well because my mom's Kenyan. And then at my on my actual wedding day, my little brother walked me down the aisle instead of my dad. And then for the parent dance, I danced, and that was like one of my favorite memories on my wedding day was dancing with her. So yeah.
That's beautiful. So you've got like a lived experience to talk to about
Mm-hmm.
all of that. I love
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
now I know you haven't been in the industry for long, but how do you feel the wedding industry is doing as a whole when it comes to addressing inclusivity?
I think I think it's getting a bit better. I mean, I again, yeah, I haven't been there too long, but I feel like it definitely could be better. Like I feel like I still see, especially on like Facebook groups and stuff, people saying, "Hey, brides," or "bridal this" or "bridal that." And it's like brides are not the only people getting married. And some people, even if they may be femme presenting, they don't want to be called brides. So like I think like some of the language that people use, and I haven't like obviously I don't look at everybody's website or everything, so I don't know if people are using inclusive language, but I feel like as simple as just saying like "hey couples" or "hey like newlyweds" or "hey beloved," like things like that, it just makes so much more of a difference because if I was somebody who doesn't like use the word bride, I would just move past you, you know? So things like that, like I don't think people realize that little things like that really make you seem more welcoming, even if it's not like a big deal of like having rainbows all over your website, you know what I mean? And sometimes even having rainbows all over your website isn't the way to do it either. Like that kind of looks like, okay, you're trying too hard too. So it's like there has to be a good balance, right? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying there. There was a post from a photographer I shared a while back about being inclusive and being affirming. Because if you
Hmm.
say you're inclusive, but you're not actioning it with the language and how you're
Exactly.
sharing couples on your Instagram or whatnot, then are you really inclusive?
Yeah. And obviously, you know, like not everybody has the chance to work with queer couples, but if you want to showcase them on your website or show that you work with them, like styled shoots are a good way to do that. Or, you know, reaching out to people who have worked with queer couples before and like trying to learn from them or things like that. Like there's ways to, or even like taking educational courses. I think Love Struck Education, they have a really good course and like there's things like that. Sorry, where you can like get badges on your website to kind of show that you're putting in the effort, and then hopefully that will lead you to getting, you know, more diverse couples that way. So,
And
mhm.
do you think that there has been any sort of change from when you first started, even like when you were planning your own wedding, to what you're seeing now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't know, it's hard to say because like trends change all the time. I do think there is maybe more of a push towards like smaller, more intimate, more intentional weddings. And whether that be because, you know, the economy is hard and like people want, you know, their money to go further, which is, I mean, is a very valid reason to have a small wedding. But also I think too, just like especially after COVID, I think people are really valuing intentional and intimate celebrations because it's like it's so much more meaningful when you know everybody in the room and everybody in the room like has that connection to you. So yeah, I think micro weddings and smaller weddings are the biggest trend that I'm seeing, I guess.
It could be, you get what you put out into the universe kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah. And I feel like for a little bit we had a blip where everyone wanted to do really big weddings because we hadn't
Hmm.
gotten together for so long. Yeah. And like every once in a while now you see a big wedding, but of course, you talk to like anybody that like you talk to like my mom and she's like 150 people, that's not a big wedding. My wedding had
I know,
500.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I guess, yeah, Victoria is usually not too big of weddings. Like, I think, I mean, sometimes I've heard people having 300 people here, but there isn't always the infrastructure here unless you're having an outdoor wedding here. But
Oh
yeah, like in
God.
Edmonton, my
Yeah.
mom was invited to a wedding of, or, like, it was her friend's daughter, and there was like 400 people. She's like, "Oh yeah, come on down." I'm like, "I don't even know these people." She's like, "Oh no, anybody can come." And I was like, "Okay." So yeah, it's definitely different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yes,
So.
definitely. On that note, what do you think it takes to make a memorable event?
I think guest experience has a really big part in making an event memorable because you obviously if your event is about you and your wedding is about you, but the people that you invite to celebrate with you, they also are important and an important part of the experience. And so if they're having a good time, then it makes you have more of a good time, I think. So I think guest experience, whether that be like including something small on every spot to like let people know that you really thought about them and you're really intentional about inviting them, or having a little like photo booth thing. People love photo booths or like even Polaroid cameras. People love to like have some type of memory of the event and like asking people what song they want to hear in the dance floor so that gets them up and dancing, like things like that. Small things to make the guests like feel really welcome and like enjoy it. And then I think that also makes you as the host like relax because you know that everybody's having a good time. So I feel like people sometimes worry like, oh, are people gonna have fun or are people gonna, enjoy it? And it's like, well, they're coming to celebrate you, so they're gonna love celebrating you. But if you can think about them in other ways, then it kind of makes it a good time for everybody.
Yeah, I like the surprise that people have sometimes when they're like, "Oh, there's a welcome drink before the ceremony." I
Yeah,
because I love
exactly.
doing that because I there's like it just takes
Mhm.
people aback and
Yeah,
because they're not used to it and they're not used to like being taken care of right off the bat.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you find that when it comes to like those memorable moments that people are like also leaning towards things that are more niche that would be like more for like a smaller wedding instead of for a bigger wedding? Like,
Yeah, I think budget obviously does come to play. Like I think it is harder to be as personal. I mean, I have had somebody, I mean, the biggest wedding that I've seen where people wrote personal notes to everybody was like 120 people. And I think more than that, it's gonna take you like a lot of hours to write personal notes. And then sometimes I mean, I don't know, maybe people are really close to 300 people and you could write a personal note to everybody, but I don't know if I could. So it does get a little bit harder to think about guests individually that way, but there are definitely still ways to do so. Like a photo booth, everybody loves a photo booth, and you don't have to do too much thought into that. And then like a welcome drink, a couple of bottles of bubbly, that goes a long way. So there are ways to do it. But I think the more like if guest experience is something that is a high priority for you, I think having a smaller guest count does help that because then your money again can go further and you can really focus more on like maybe like having welcome bags or
mm-hmm.
having little personal, yeah, I don't know, things
Yeah.
like that.
So I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I want to ask you what you think about AI and what place that has in our industry, if any.
Sure, that's a great question because I do know a lot of people. I've actually heard recently people are asking AI, like, find me the best wedding planner, or find me the best photographer in my area. So that's really interesting. And I would say that it can be good for some things, like maybe streamlining your process, helping you make a good budget in the sense of like the spreadsheet, not necessarily like picking how you should spend your money. I think you should have a professional for that. But I think where it can be misused is if people use it to like fully take over what a vendor would do because I mean it finds information for you, but it might not be the most relevant information, it might not be helpful information. And even if you plan your whole wedding using ChatGPT, for example, ChatGPT cannot be there on the day to execute, you know?
Yes,
Uh, so
that is true.
at the end of the day, yeah, at the end of the day, like it can only do so much for you, and you need a human to help execute. So it makes more sense to me to have a human the whole way through, and then you can use it as a tool. Like I feel like it should be a tool and not a replacement for a professional.
Yeah, I think that's really well said because I think when
Hmm.
you just assign a robot to do all of that for you, then where's that human touch? It's because like robots can't
Exactly.
get married.
No, no,
Not yet,
they don't
anyways, I
know.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's hope it stays up, but who knows?
Yeah. So, if you had to give one piece of advice to someone who's thinking of launching a business in the event industry, what would you tell them?
I think networking, even though it's scary, is really important. I remember my first year. It's funny, like Cecilia Penner, she's a officiant in Victoria, and
Yeah, we
she
had her
married
on
me
the
and my husband.
show.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And so
yeah.
she married me and my husband. And so when I launched my business, like we reconnected again. And then she actually was the one that told me to reach out to you, Rad. And she's like, Rad's a great planner. She can help you out. And so then you were my mentor for yeah, the last half of 2024, which was my starting year. And it was so helpful and you gave me such good advice. And then also I met online first, actually. I don't think I met her in person until the Kinder Weddings conference, but Nicole Grogan from Intent Events, she was a really big help for me too. Like I would text her questions, we would have FaceTime meets and like coffee chats, and it was just so helpful just to like really get because there's some things you can't Google it, you know, like you need someone with the lived experience. So I really think, and then networking in general, just going to any kind of event, it is really scary, especially when you go by yourself, but that's how you get connections and you make friends, and then your friends refer you, and you know, you need help with something, they can help you out, or they can find someone to help you. It really does make a difference when you have those connections. And then also confidence wise, like that's a big thing for me. Like I have imposter syndrome still, but I've always lived by like a fake it till you make it kind of thing. And because confidence, I don't think anybody's born with confidence, right? It's definitely something learned in some capacity. You have to learn how to be confident. And I think faking it and like pretending that you're confident will kind of like get you to the point where eventually you're like, okay, actually I'm confident. Like you come to like my very first one, I remember I was like so nervous and so like what are they going to think of me? And but I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm here. I'm just going to take charge. People don't know that I'm new. People don't know this is my first wedding, and I don't have to tell them. I can just say, like, this is what we're going to do. And I just kind of, yeah, I just kind of like push through it. And I still have my doubts sometimes, but it definitely helps. Like, faking it till you make it is kind of like my motto for everything. But in that, like, on the
Yeah.
other hand, I do suggest like getting educated and getting certified. Because I remember, Rad, that was like one of the first things you told me was to get certified. And I know not every profession has like certification, but like taking different courses, workshops, like there's so many ways where you can get educated from people who have so much more experience. And, you know, showing your clients that you put in the time to like educate yourself and become more professional, like having a good website, having good social media presence, like all of those things make you look like you're serious, even if you're brand new. So those things are really important too. Like I think getting educated and getting certified. Because yeah, I guess it ties into the confidence thing too. Like if you have all of the qualifications, then that confidence is kind of like earned, and then you can really say like, hey, like I put in the work. I am a vendor that is worth your money and worth your investment, and here's why, kind of thing. And you can show them.
100%, because I see all the time people bashing new vendors coming onto the scene because they've just planned their own wedding and that's all they've
Hmm.
done and they haven't done anything else. And the thing is like I planned my first wedding that way and then started
Hmm.
planning. So, but like you
Hmm.
got to have like a little bit more knowledge because you can't go into anything thinking that you know everything.
Exactly. Yeah, because you don't. Because again, like I started after I planned my own wedding, and I mean, I didn't charge a lot because I was like, I don't know everything, but I know that I am an organized person and I know that I could help other people be organized. So I was like, let's see where it goes. And then after my first season, that's when I was like, okay, I think if I really want to do this, I have to get the proper education. And there was a lot of things in there that I had learned on the job, but then there were so many more things. I was like, okay, thank goodness I learned this because if I experienced this at another wedding, I wouldn't have known what to do. So because learning on the job is really valuable as well, but like it's somebody's wedding day, so you don't want to be learning too many things on the job because you don't want to mess up. So
No, exactly. There's no redos, no
yeah,
Groundhog
exactly.
Day.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go soon, but first, you have to play a game with me.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to do budget breakdown guess who.
Oh,
And since we don't have actually have a board, I'm going to give you some clues and
oh,
I want to hear what your answer is going to be. Okay. So, your first clue is 150 guests, a hotel ballroom, 10-piece live band, custom
ooh,
florals on the ceiling, a
oh,
couture gown attire. We'll just say couture attire. And it's going to
okay.
be 3 days of events.
Wow. Okay. So I'm supposed to guess how much the budget
How much do you
is?
think that's gonna be?
I'm gonna say at least
Oh
150,000.
my god, you got it. I
Oh,
was
really?
yeah, yeah. I have 150 to 200,000,
I
but
was gonna say,
yeah,
like, I was gonna
yeah,
say it could go up to 200 depending on
yeah.
florals, honestly.
Very
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Thank
next
you.
one, we're gonna do a DIY backyard wedding. 75
Oh,
guests,
backyard.
food trucks, string lights, DIY decor, and a DJ. No planner. I know everyone's nightmare. No
Mhm.
planner.
For a backyard wedding
Yeah,
especially.
especially. How much do you think this wedding is gonna cost?
That one's hard because if they don't have a planner, it might not have thought to, like, get toilets and get, like, tents and proper lighting and stuff like that, and I guess the food truck, they probably yeah, I'm gonna say 60,000.
Yeah, I would say that
Yeah?
too. I
Oh,
put
yeah.
yeah, because the thing is that, like, people are always like, "Oh, I'm gonna have it in my backyard, and it's gonna be so much
Yeah.
less money," and it's like but, like you said, the toilet, the tent, the dance floor,
Lighting.
the
Mhm.
like, sometimes you have to get shuttle services because there's not enough
Yeah.
parking,
Er,
lighting, heaters,
yeah.
generators, there's so many things to think of on top
And
of
DIY too, sometimes you make mistakes because you're not a professional. I mean, like, I love DIYing, I totally understand, but it does take time, and then if you make a mistake, it takes money to get all those resources again, so it does add up quickly. So I think
definitely.
people would think that that would be like $30,000,
Mhm.
but no,
Yeah.
with all the rentals that you would need, it's definitely closer to
Definitely, because 'cause you're
60.
making a venue from scratch, unless your house
Exactly.
is a venue already.
Exactly. Which, I mean, maybe, but yeah. If everybody can fit inside if you can fit 75 people inside your house and have enough bathrooms where, like, there isn't a long ass line, then sure,
And
but
maybe if you're
no,
not on
yeah.
septic either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is my last scenario for you, and I feel like this is really relevant to what we do. Okay, so you've got a wedding with $1,000 wedding budget. What do you think the couple should be paying for a full service planner? That's design and from them from start to end, like they like booking the venue, all of it.
Usually, I would say people should spend for full service, like, 10 to 15%. Yeah. So I would say 70,000. I mean, I would say 10,000 probably is an average that they should pay just because, did you say the guest count?
I didn't.
No, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
7 to 10,000. Yeah,
Okay.
that would be what I would say.
And I mean,
Mhm.
I would say like a $7,000 wedding. Like the reason I didn't give a guest count is because you could do a 25-person wedding for that much,
That's true,
or
yeah,
you could do a 100-person wedding for that much. And
that's true.
and I don't know about you, but I get asked about average wedding cost all the time.
Yeah,
And it's really hard to say because you don't know what the priority
mhm.
is going to be.
Exactly, exactly. Because anybody like yeah, I mean, that's why when, like, on my budget questionnaire, I ask, like, what your priorities are because you can find a typical wedding budget online, but if you care more about flowers and you care more about your DJ, but your food, you could have the cheapest buffet option and you could not care what people are sitting on, then that's a different budget than somebody who wants the best food and wants a 10-course meal and wants the best alcohol, but doesn't care and wants greenery only, you know what I mean? Like, you can't unless you yeah, unless you, like, really, like, nail down what your like or sorry, you can't you can't like, yeah, there's no
Yeah,
one size fits all budget. You
for
really need
sure.
to know what your priorities are so you can know where to put your money is because
Yeah.
it comes back all around to, like, what you value.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm saying this from experience because I did do a wedding for 25 people. That was $50,000.
Wow. Wow. Wait, that was how much?
50,000.
Oh, wow.
That's
Honestly,
only the
love
things
that.
that I know because some of the things they never
Yeah.
told me how much they spent online.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah. I know. But yeah, if you want to have lots of good food, then yeah, big budget, small guest count really makes that possible. Or
100%.
whatever they prioritize anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So, I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're very
No
busy and
problem.
very booked, which is very exciting. But can you tell me where people can find you? Anything that you have coming up that you can share right now?
Sure. So my Instagram is Fets by Linda, FETESBYLINDA. So that's where my main planning page is. I also am I started a BIPOC women's like community group thing called a Sunday Fete because most of the events I try to keep them on Sundays just because I thought a Sunday Fete was really cute. So it's like let's keep them on Sundays. But basically, like it's a place where not necessarily networking. You can network if you come, but it's just like a place for BIPOC women and friends to come and gather and like not feel any judgment and not feel like they have to code switch or anything. I have a Galentine's event that's sold out already, but I do have a spring mixer coming up on May 3rd at Cafe Malabar. We're partnering with Cafe Malabar, so that's gonna be really, really fun. Tickets are on sale for that now. And then I also have some Pride events coming up that I'll be announcing later on, but you can check my Instagram for that. And then I also have a Mother's Day event with Robin from Darling Cake Co. We're gonna have like a little Mother's Day workshop where you and your mom can come, or mother figure can come and like decorate cakes together and like have some little snacks and treats. So all of that's on my website though, fetsbylinda.ca. And yeah,
That
that's about it,
sounds
I
like
think.
so much fun. I'm gonna have to go check all of those things
Yeah,
out. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Linda. I will put all of those details in the bio for this episode,
sure.
and I'm sure we'll see you again soon, maybe at the next board meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, have a great
Thank
day.
you so much for having me. You too.
A huge thank you to Linda for joining us for this episode. Stay tuned for next week's episode when we talk to Andrew from Twist of Fate Cocktails. And in the meantime, stay rad.
Can you get into the funk tonight? Can you stomp to the beat and sway to the right? Can you feel it deep down in your soul? Can you dance to the rhythm and lose control? Can you let it move you, let it choose you? Get in the funk and the funk will flow through you. Up and down, you'll be bouncing like a yo-yo, feeling frisky, dancing at the disco. Let's get up and dance. You got me bounce, 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 bouncing like a yo-yo. Can you feel my heart beat fast? Can you make the moment last? Can I hold you in my trance? My cannon fire, my magic dance. I really groove you. I want to choose you. Pull up a seat and watch the music move you. Getting lost in the moment, we'll go crazy for each other, dancing at the disco. Can you get into the funk tonight? Can you stomp to the beat and sway to the right? Can you feel it deep down in your soul? Can you dance to the rhythm and lose control? Can you